there is something else. There must be something else. There must be something more powerful than what we can see or what we can do physically or biologically or whatever.
Welcome to the Juggling the Chaos of Recovery podcast Wellness Spot, where we focus on health and wellness and how you can reclaim your health and life today. You're in the right place if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you've been helping so many others. It's time to help yourself. In a time when health and wellness can be so confusing, I'll share my knowledge as a nurse and 20 years in wellness and help you navigate through. You will hear stories of people who have used the Shaklee products, including me, as they have truly been a game changer for health. And I'm here to tell you that it's never too late to pay attention to your health and how making a smart plan with natural choices can help you live your best life today. Well, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am your host, Moira Gorski, and so thankful that you continue to come back and listen. I just continue to love meeting other people in my life, and certainly along this journey of wellness and podcasting, it's really cool where it's taking me. And I continue to, again, look for other people to connect with, as I've mentioned on my podcast before. I just love to be connected with others to get to know them. And I happened to meet my guest today, through a Facebook network type of page for other podcasters. And it really caught my eye when I saw nurse and wellness and holistic and hypnotherapist and all those really cool things that I love and I love to learn about. And so I connected with Dr. Nas and was honored to be a guest on her podcast, I think a couple of weeks ago. And today I am bringing her to you today, and just things that make me kind of giggle a little bit. I love the fact that she is from Australia and we are connecting across the world, across the globe. I mean, that's just very fascinating to me that because of technology, we can connect like this, and we can get to know each other, and then I can share her with you. So Dr. Nas, welcome today. Well, it is today for you. It is almost night for me, but welcome to my podcast today. I'm really honored that you are here.
Hello, Moira. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Absolutely blessing to talk to you.
Yes, thank you. And again, you will see all about Dr. Nas in the show notes, but her education is vast. She is a holistic health professional, academic nurse, and emotional health consultant, 25 plus years with lots of different, as I mentioned before, lots of different parts of health and wellness, evidence-based healthcare. She's worked with children, with youth, with adults, with chronic illness management. And really, again, what I am really enjoying getting to know and learning about her is that just this passion of spirituality, health, inner wellness, inner health, and really working on things on the inside that can help us heal there as well as heal on the outside. So again, just thrilled that you're here. And, just a little bit, I guess, about your backstory. I mean, were you always interested in being in medicine or being a nurse, or, how did you come to be, that's what you chose as your education?
Wow, that's a big journey.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to just bring it, absolutely, briefly. So it was something natural, I think, in my inside, to be honest. As far as I know myself as a child, I was kind of, searching for something that wasn't really easy to find. It was, sometimes, you feel that there is something lost in you and you are not satisfied completely with, whatever you have. At the same time, you appreciate it. You are grateful for everything you have, but you're looking for something else. And what I was looking for was so much attached with my heart. I was always feeling that I love connection. I love I love serving people. I love to do something for the community, for people, for the world. So this was a sense, absolutely, as far as I remember from my childhood inside of me. So medicine, or just being a medical doctor, possibly was the very first thing came to my mind in my high school ages. But for some reasons, I actually tend to be a nurse. And in the very first year of my nursing study, I still wasn't sure, and I was going actually just to withdraw and get back to my, dream job. That was a medical doctor. I was going actually to be a surgeon. That was my first. But guess what? As soon as I was involved, closely with patients in my clinical placement, I changed my decision, and I just said, no, that's it. That's exactly what I want. Because I was always, hungry for those absolutely deep connection with people. So yes, then I continued my nursing study and my undergrad education, and it was so rewarding. I experienced quite a few miracles in my, undergrad, and at the same time, actually, because I was so passionate and enthusiastic, at the same time I started to work as night shift, and I studied during the day, so I was quite active. And so I experienced a couple of really significant, massive miracles. For example, one of them, I'm not sure if I talked to you before or not, but I had a patient in midnight when I was working in as a dialysis nurse. I was quite young, I think, about 20, something like that. And so we had actually a patient who had a heart attack, and we did all the CPR, all the stuff, and he's gone. The code blue decided he's gone. And for some reasons that I don't know, it was still unknown. I continued actually just giving him oxygen, through the ambu bag. And my work friends actually just, starting to laugh at me, laughing at me. I said, what are you doing? He's dead. Are you there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes? It's just pointless. And I just said, I don't know. I feel that I'm made to do it. I want to do it. Just let me be. And after 20 minutes, it was so miraculous. After 20 minutes, I just realized his chest is moving. And first I thought it's me. Because I'm just, pushing ambu. But I just put my hands off and just observed, no, the chest is moving. So I just checked the breathing, by putting my cheek, on, my face. I feel, the breath. And yes, it was the breath. So still I feel that when I talk about it, still I get goosebumps. And I called, the code blue, they came back, and patient, came back to life. Wow. After 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we all know that the golden time, they say the golden time is 3 to 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And they did actually, the resource team did all, everything during that 5 minutes, and that didn't work. And after that, I continued with another 20 minutes with nothing, only ambu. And so that was possibly the very first, aha moment. There is something else. There must be something else. There must be something more powerful than what we can see or what we can do physically or biologically or whatever. So that was the very, powerful aha moment. So I continued, my education with master, but, I did mental health at the start after, my couple of years after my graduation as a general nurse. I continued with mental health. nursing, master of mental health, but for some reasons, I withdrew from, I changed indeed, mental health to pediatrics because my family believed that I'm a very sensitive person. And and if I continue with that mental health, it does affect my own personal life. Because yes, they were right. I'm absolutely a very deep impact, and I am sensitive. But it was in my inside, and when I migrated to Australia about 20 years ago, I decided to continue my education with my PhD, with my doctorate, research based. And guess what? I actually just said, okay, this is my life now. This is my choice now. I tend to be involved with the topic as spirituality and self-transformation. And that was challenging actually with the School of Nursing because it actually, at that time, it was, I finished my PhD 11 years ago. And at that time, 15, 16 years ago, wasn't really popular spirituality topic in medicine and health. But it was absolutely the biggest turning point in my life because I work with spirituality and self-transformation in people, young people with diabetes type 1, which is considered incurable. And yeah, I designed the questionnaire as a spirituality questionnaire, and then I designed another coping questionnaire, and we actually did the whole stuff. We did quantitative and qualitative research. We did the whole stuff about, measuring hemoglobin A1C, HbA1C, which is the main criteria for diabetes management, and also blood glucose level. And young people who were more spiritual, using the questionnaire and all those stuff, they achieved a higher score in spirituality. They were able to manage their diabetes better than the others. And spirituality wasn't, to be honest, wasn't focusing on religion because religion is one tool, is only one of the absolutely different tools are available for spirituality for people. Young people with diabetes basically focused on connectedness, which started within. So the biggest concept emerged from that study, that research was sense of self and connectedness with inner self. And then connection with others, with the world, and for some people with the universe or higher power, which is still, starting within. And the other concept, emerged from their spirituality was about self-transformation, and finding the new meaning in any given situations. So these two, massive concepts absolutely, attracted so many, conferences, and I published, papers, and also, were the very significant beginning of my journey after my PhD. So then I did my, continued my education and my learning of different modalities, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and hypnotherapy, and mindfulness, because I believe that, we have so many amazing modalities that we can use in addition to conventional medicine. I'm not against conventional medicine, but I think it's not enough. It's just not enough. So definitely we can use a lot of other modalities to get more connected with that source within. Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own life, for our own health. And I definitely believe as soon as we give away our inner power to the external sources or to outside, that's unfortunately the start of disease and illnesses. Uh, and it's very easy. It's simple. We just need to get back to that power. It's
Yeah.
that easy.
Yeah. I mean, I know it sounds so easy, and it's not always, but I mean, as you speak, that's why I love being connected with you, because we have very similar views, and that there is certainly a place for conventional medicine. But as I've learned, as I've been exposed to wellness and seen other transformations in other people and done work myself and studied other type of modalities similar to you, you can't deny that there's something else. There's something greater than us. And I believe that greaterness is connected with us on the inside. And again, I believe the audience that listens to this, the audience that listens to this is certainly a lot talking about, those that have struggled with addictions and eating disorders and disorders of some type. And just what you said, when we give our power, our inner power over to those other things, be it that the thoughts that start coming in our heads, or give over to the pain, or we want to numb the pain with certain things or pharmaceuticals or whatnot, when we give our power away to those other things, like you said, that's where disease starts. That's where disorder starts. And again, that's what I really want to talk about today, because I've seen that with my own journey. I've seen that with my exposure to the eating disorder world. There's, there are, again, so many things that can be helpful, but so much taught, and even my husband says it, the happiness starts from within, right? Things start, and if we can start on the inside, then things get better on the outside. And again, it sounds really simple, and I know it's not. That's why I thought today, maybe, you could kind of take us through a few, just, again, you talked a little bit about that inner wellness, and it sounds like that inner connectiveness and becoming connected with ourselves needs to start first. And as we kind of fall in love with ourselves, if you will, and allow ourselves to be, then we can start to transform. It sounds like that, connected starts first, and then transformation comes next. But, I'd love to just talk about, like, if somebody's listening going, well, yeah, it sounds easy, but I don't even understand what that all means. Can you talk a little bit about, what that does mean to start to connect with yourself, to start loving yourself? Like, what does that mean really? If about that inner, let's talk about that inner wellness.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think the main thing that we miss is our purpose, because a lot of time we're looking for something that we really don't know. We are not really sure what that is, in our inside, and we are just looking for that outside of ourselves. I'll just give you an example. For example, if you love a loving relationship, and you're looking for, amazing, woman or man who can give you that loving relationship, and you're just trying to find out, here and there, I don't know, in the websites or in the parties or in your communication. And then you may fail, for many years. Or, another example, simple example is about your health. Yeah, you're looking for the best doctor who can help you, I don't know, just get less stress-free, or just less anxiety, or have the better sleep. And then after some years, you may not find the best or sustainable solution. I guess one of the main, missing parts is we don't really know what we want. We don't really know. So if, for example, I have a loving relationship, I don't know what does loving relationship mean to me, in depth. What is really loving relationship? And once I am clear with the loving relationship that I want, then I need to get back to myself. Okay, do I have that kind of relationship which is defined as a loving relationship? Do I have that type of relationship with myself first? So just tap on your own desire in yourself. If I desire to be loved, okay, do I love my own? Just see yourself in the front of, just stand in the front of mirror, or just talk to your heart, or just review what you're doing, during the day, during the night. Do you give love to yourself in whatever you're doing? Do you give love to yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? Do you give love to yourself when you talk to yourself? What kind of words you use? What kind of language you use when you talk to yourself? So you cannot look for the loving relationship outside of yourself when you have no idea about loving relationship with yourself. That is not possible, and that's the main reason of your failure. So the same when you look for the best doctor, how you treat yourself in your health. If you, for example, dealing with insomnia and you take a cup of a big mug of coffee at 12 midnight, so just think about it. Just reflect on what you are doing yourself in terms of your own health. Do you give yourself, something that can nourish your body? Or do you give your body, I'm sorry, rubbish? Mm-hmm. Do you give yourself, good emotions to feel happy? Or you give yourself something, that shit, no, that is not possible, that is not, no, I can't do it, I can't do it. Okay, so if you continue talking to yourself like that, you give yourself all, depleting emotions. You just drain your own energy. How you can expect someone else just, shows up from outside and just, do a miracle and change your emotions? No, that is not possible. So that's why, that's exactly why I believe everything begins within. And yet the very simple step that we can start with is just taking some time during the day, just giving some time to ourselves and communicating with what is happening inside in terms of our thoughts, our self-talk, our emotions, our body language, because the body has a very clear language, but we mostly ignore it. For example, when you, this is very obvious for me. Whenever I am stressed or I am anxious about something, or I have some really, I'm not usually using negative or positive. So let's just, use depleting. When I'm, using depleting language or emotions, I straight away feel something is happening in my body. I straight away feel it. So I may just, in the next couple of hours, I may just feel headache, or I may just, because I have a chronic back pain, I may feel, my back pain just, got aggravated, or I may feel some gut issues. But the point is, I'm aware about these sensations right now. Maybe previously, 20 years ago, I wasn't. And I missed, all these, body, the language of my body, or, the way body was trying to talk to me. I missed it. And then just I was looking for a doctor to fix it. No, Yeah. So you
Right.
need to talk to your body, you need to talk to your emotion, you need to talk to yourself. And believe me, no, that is not difficult. It's easy, but we we are just getting, we are a little bit reluctant doing that. And it's most of the time it's not intentional.
Hmm.
Most of the time it's just because of a lot of distractions we have with the outer world. And at the beginning it's not, it's a little bit hard at the beginning just to turn our focus to those areas. But once you practice, more and more, it's going to be effortless.
Right. Yeah. Well, it ends up being, I think that you're able to notice those things. The things that, like when you mentioned, for instance, your stomach hurts or gut issues. I was talking with a friend the other day who has a daughter who had a stressful situation with somebody, like an interaction with them. And then she said to her mom, oh, my stomach hurts and I need some of that Imodium because that really helps me. And I mean, there was this direct correlation between stress, difficult interaction, difficult conversation, and then she was feeling something, like you said, in her body. And
Yes,
then her initial, because it worked before, okay, what's going to help? It's going to help to get a medicine. And so that's the cycle that we usually get into. But if we can work on what you're talking about, is real, like notice, oh, wow, my stomach hurts. Like, why does my stomach hurt? Oh, maybe it's because I had a difficult conversation with my friend or my boyfriend or my mother or whatever the case is. So like okay, I'm noticing that. Okay, so what can I do? So maybe I don't need something, a medicine. What can I do? Maybe I can do some deep breathing, or maybe I can just, again, feel into that and relax and see if that pain will go away. But doing that, like you said, you talked about talking to your body, but I think a big part of it too is listening. Like listening, like my back's hurting, my neck's hurting. Like, what is that? And noticing, what does that mean? And that was something that I learned with a mindfulness-based stress reduction course that I just took. And that we just talked a lot about noticing. And when we can slow down enough to notice, then we can notice, and then we can make a decision on what we're going to do. But I think, like you were talking a little bit, we get distracted, we get busy, we get distracted with other things, and we don't even, and I'm just speaking from my own experience, we don't slow ourselves down enough to notice, that flashing light that's happening, like our flashing light in the car, that things that are flashing, and they're warning signs to tell us that something's,
absolutely. Yeah,
you know,
that noticing is, yeah, it's actually, you brought really, very important point, because that noticing is the key. And it can start, it can be started in our everyday living, with everything. For example, I remember the first time I started to learn about mindfulness, because some people saying, oh, it's not easy just to sit somewhere and just be quiet. Mindfulness practice is not easy. So that happened to me as well. It wasn't easy for me at the beginning. And I started to, yes, just to notice my, every single thing I was doing in my everyday living. For example, when I was driving, I started, okay, so when I stop, red light, see other cars, see people just passing through, see the actual red light, see the sky, see whereabouts, on earth you are right now, which street you are now. So actually my feeling, straight away changed to be more connected to my body and where I am. Or another simple thing, when I was doing, when I washing dishes, when I washing dishes, I started to feel water on my hands, feel, the dishes, and say, yeah, feel the actual, everything. And then again, eating, because we are nurses, we know, the physiology, anatomy, and all those sorts of stuff. So when I started to notice what I'm eating, I started to feel, the food is going, the whole pathway is going through my mouth, to the esophagus, to the stomach. And I just said, oh, that is actually an interesting feeling. So the mindfulness can be started, with that simple strategy. You don't have to be, in alpha state, just sitting, in a quiet at the very beginning. You can be quiet, alert, doing your everyday activities, daily activities, and at the same time, really notice what you are doing with your body. Notice it. Notice, with your skin, with your feeling, with your emotions. And I would mostly focus on body and emotions rather than head, because usually, as soon as you focus on your head or your thinking, you may just get distracted straight away with other thoughts. Does that make sense? Yeah,
it does. Yeah. And I know from my own self, just living so much in my head, trying to, again, being a busy mom of 4 and running a business and having a child who has some struggles and, 2 dogs and, making dinner and all those things, we sometimes get into that, okay, what do I got to do next? And what do I have to do next? And so we're living in this checklist of a life, as opposed to connecting with our heart. Well, how does that make me feel? And those kind of things. And it's difficult. I know that for myself. I know that when, talking with others, and just to try to just shut that off a little bit. And then, well, how does that really feel? Not like, well, I did this. Well, okay, that's great. But how does that make you? How do you?
Checking with your heart. It's very important. Yes. And the other thing which is very important for a busy amazing lady like yourself is just giving permission to yourself sometimes just to have some errors. That's fine. That's fine. If you just remove all those shouldn't, and just say, okay, what I love to do right now. I know that I have a list. Yes, I need to be disciplined. Yes, they're all, good stuff. I'm not saying no, don't have a discipline or whatever. However, you need to give yourself permission to be sometimes imperfect. That's fine. That's fine if you are not perfectly handling the things that you are listed because we are all human, and we have emotions, we have ups and downs, we have as soon as you give yourself permission to accept your down state or to accept your imperfection, as soon as you do it, the energy will come back. Believe me, the energy will.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, I was having this discussion with my daughter the last couple of days, just that perfectionism that tends to run through those that have addictions and disorders. But I think it runs through so many of us. We just want things to be just so. And, I live in a beautiful, wonderful community of successful families and successful children. And so you see this standard, if you will, that you feel like perhaps you have to live up to. If you're part of this group, then you should be doing this too. I mean, it's just this perpetual cycle. And it can lead us down that road of, just like you said, feeling like because we're making a mistake or we're not doing what our neighbor's doing or our kids aren't doing what their kids are doing, then we're a failure. But I mean, there's a beautiful book. I don't think it's Brene Brown, but it could be. I'm not sure. But the gifts of imperfection. Brene Brown, maybe. I mean, it was I'm not sure if but it's, the gifts of imperfection. And it's, again, God made us, well, he made us perfect. And then, we became imperfect, but we don't have to be perfect. And I think, like, again, you talk about purpose, you talk about loving yourselves. And I think that, and I talk about boundaries a lot. And I tell others that, boundaries are a way that we teach other people how to treat, how we want to be treated.
Okay, yeah.
And I've learned that we need to have the boundaries with ourselves,
Yeah.
in order to show that love for ourselves.
You need to know first how to treat yourself to be able to set the boundaries about how to be treated. Because when you don't know how to treat yourself, how come you want to just, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. You definitely need to be very clear about how to treat yourself. Then definitely, as you mentioned, then we can set the boundaries how to be treated by others. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I know that, as this was kind of introduced to me a few years ago, it was difficult. I was like, what are you? I don't, it's hard when we get into this cycle of taking care of others. And I think as nurses, we do that often, right? That's our profession, is to help others. And you probably know this. I know this when I was in the profession. Nurses are some of the most unhealthy people.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah. And it's because they're taking care of everyone else and they put themselves on the back burner. Yeah. And then you throw in a mom and, a business and, then taking care of all of that. And I found for myself that I just as they say, my cup was empty. And so I learned that I needed to fill my cup up first. We hear that. How many times do we hear that? Love yourself first, fill your cup up first. But I've lived that life of when you don't do that.
And give from empty cup.
Right.
Yeah. How?
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing that is a little bit, I think, we just need to clarify the word or the concept of resilience, because a lot of time we or some people think that resilience is more about tolerance or just tolerating, the situation in any, in any forms. But there is a big difference between tolerance and resilience. Because in tolerance, you mean, let me just define resilience first. The resilience is more about restoring and basically utilizing your energy in the best way to thrive in any situation, using all energy sources. So the energy sources, we know that we have physical source of energy, we have emotional source of energy, we have mental source of energy, and we have a spiritual source of energy. Yeah. We need to be able to utilize, our energy using all these, sources to thrive, not only survive, to thrive. This is resilience. This is a real resilience. So as an outcome, of resilience, we indeed, produce more energy rather than, reduce or drain energy. But tolerance is draining our energy. So that's a big difference. So it's not just about when you tolerate something and you are not really aligned with your emotions, with your spiritual needs, with your mental state, you are draining yourself. And you may feel that in your heart you don't really like it. But you say, I have to like it because this situation is different. I have to tolerate it. That these disalignments, but it can cause a lot of problems. It can cause anxiety, depression, mental health issues, and also it can cause physical issues, in long term. This alignment is very important. So the resilience is not about tolerating. Resilience is about just finding your energy sources. And okay, for example, your physical resilience can be related to, you know, food, or your physical activity, or you need to change, you know, what you eat. You need to change, you know, how to move your body, and just to absorb more energy in, as you know, your physical source of energy. For your emotions, the emotional source of energy could be all, you know, positive or elevating emotions. So if you are in a very difficult situation, okay, I know this is a very sad situation, and I cannot say, lie to myself and say, I don't know, everything is perfect now. No, it's not perfect, but you still have love to yourself. So love is an elevating emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So the situation is sad, the situation is really difficult, it's really hard, but you still have love in your heart to give to yourself. Just in that situation, just embrace yourself and talk to yourself that I'm here for you. I know that the situation is so difficult, but my heart, I'm here for you. I can feel you. I can sense you. I give love to you. I give love to my body. So that's elevating emotion that can, you know, boost your resilience. Your mental state, you may start just to talk to yourself differently and just say, okay, this is difficult situation, and that I know that I'm going through it anyway. I know that I'm strong, and I went through, you know, the more difficult states in the past. So that's a self-talk that you can, you know, to your mental state and boost, you know, the energy of your mental state. So yeah, so resilience is about using all these sources of energy, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Spiritual could be your faith,
Mm-hmm.
could be your intuition, could be, yeah, whatever it is, could be connecting to the higher power that can, you know, make you calm and more faithful. So yeah, using all these sources of energy, you can boost your resilience. So you don't
I mean,
have to.
I love, yeah, I really love that. It makes so much sense. And I really love that. And I hope the listeners heard that because, and listen to it again, because I think like when you mentioned tolerance, when we tolerate, I think what we're doing is giving the power to that, even though we're saying, oh, it's okay, I'm tolerating, you're giving that power, you're giving your power away to someone else, something else. And I feel like just the way that you described all of that, when you talked about your physical and mental and emotional, you're giving yourself the power if it's making those different choices with what you eat or how you're going to go for a walk today, or you're going to work out, or you're going to choose a healthy smoothie for your lunch instead of a Big Mac or whatever. But, you know, I was thinking as you were talking, I have all of these, and people have heard this on the podcast. I love like little 3x5 cards, and I have my little, you know, inspirational sayings on here. And, you know, I chuckle about it, but it makes so much sense. And just related to what you're saying, you know, some of the words that I have here is I embrace challenges because I will always find a way to overcome.
Yes.
You know, we can talk about, oh, this is so hard. But you know what? I embrace challenges because I always find a way to overcome. Because that ends up being the way it is. But you say that self, those, again, I don't want to make too much light of it because it's so true. You continue to say those things to yourself and you do become resilient. Even though you have challenges, you can overcome them because you've been telling yourself that, and the brain goes to work and your heart goes to work and you find a way. And I'm not afraid, only excited for what is ahead. And everything is happening when and how it should. So you continue to, again, feed yourself that self-talk, that love. And I love that you said, and then you become resilient because that resilience is so positive and powerful, and it really, it's just wonderful. Again, helping us in so many things in life.
When I was in the process of, grief for my dad, when my dad lost the loss of my dad, it was so difficult because, especially when you are not next to your dad, because he was in another country. I'm Persian, and he was back in Iran, and I was here, and I made my trip in 2 days just to be with him in his last 5 days of life. And I personally experienced what I worked in my PhD thesis with my patients, with my clients, when we talked too much about the word "why me" in my research. In the process of my grief, I personally dealt with that "why me," and it actually made, oh my God, made amazing sense to me. And I just said, I researched this topic, and I talked with so amazing young people with diabetes type 1 about this concept. And now I feel that I have this question again in my inside when I'm in the real situation personally. I started to ask the question, why me? And then I reflected, and I just went through everything I discussed with those young people, everything, I've gone through in my education, in my research. And I reflected, just talked to my heart, and I said, okay, why not me? So the question changed. And I just said, okay, why not me? A lot of people experiencing these things, across the globe. Why not me? And what else? What else is there that I can help me right now get something new? So that was a decision I made, and I straight away, got the flight the day after, and I said, okay, I want to use these, I don't know how many days. That actually ended up, with 5 days, but I didn't know at the beginning. But I just decided, I made my decision to use these days, these moments, as much as I can. And it was amazing self-transformation stage, Moira. It was so amazing because I felt at some stages I went to the stage of dying with my dad, and I came back again to life. It was exactly like that. I want to actually write a book about it because those 5 days, absolutely, was like life, eternal life for me. So yes, I started to find out what is this life, and I started to revise my purpose after that, big challenge. And when I came back, home, I revisited my purposes. I revisited my missions, and I said, okay, imagine tomorrow is going to be your last day. What you're going to do for these 24 hours to be, I don't know, the most productive person, the most, happy person, the most joyful person in the universe. What you're going to do? It wasn't easy, but I kept practicing, and that was actually the time that I decided to learn about other modalities, to get more connection with more deeper layers, and also at some stages decided to start my business because and I'm still revisiting my missions because this is ongoing. This is an ongoing process, revisiting your purpose and your mission. But every challenge, I guess, even the hardest ones, can be used just to boost your resilience and revisit your purpose and find and create the new meaning about, the given situation or, any particular state that you are in.
Mhm. I mean, I love that. It was,
Sorry, yeah.
No, it's really good because I was just speaking with a friend today, and it really made me, when you said that, she said to me, and I bring up my ballroom dance lessons a lot these days because it's changing me. And I was talking about that because it's really just a metaphor for life, what I'm learning there. And what I heard you say was what she said to me today. She said, what you're doing is you're learning things and you're putting it into practice. And you're doing it every time. And what I mean by that is kind of what I heard you saying. You've learned this, you've learned about mindfulness, you've learned about, you've studied that with your patients with diabetes and all that, and you talk to them. And then all of a sudden you were put in a situation where you're like, okay, well, I have a choice here.
Yeah.
I could practice what I preach, or I can not. And I've noticed that, when I've been dancing and been really afraid to do the next thing or to enter the competition or to believe in myself. And I tell people that all the time, just push past your fear. If you're afraid, just do it anyway, right? That's what I tell everybody. Well, all of a sudden I was in that situation and I was like, oh, I see. So I could choose to just talk the talk. And I heard you say that you could have chosen to just say, oh, why me and just continue to talk. Or you could then take it to that next step and say, and do what you have learned and you told others to do. And I think that it's, has transformed your life, as you said. And now what a wonderful example you are to others, because you can help them now to say, I understand. I've been there myself. Right?
Yes.
I was at that place and this is what helped me. And I know it can help you. And so let me guide you, along.
Absolutely. Yes. I went through so many those cocoon breaking times. And another time was, when I had had a breakup of my really long relationship and my marriage. And that was so it happened actually after that transformation, my break, because I revisited my purpose, and I decided just to move out from the position of victim, because I just decided to live purposefully and to listen to my heart and my really core desires. So, but that wasn't easy. Exactly. So it was like that. All right. So I'm just talking about these things and I'm helping others. But when I'm in the situation, oh my God, it's not easy. And that wasn't actually, I couldn't believe that myself, with all those very strong background, with all those, just being involved with so many teaching, research, working, helping others, I couldn't believe that myself went actually through depression. And it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable because is that me? Is that me going through depression? And I just said, yes, it is depression. And then, so I felt it. I felt it in, I'm actually, now I'm talking about it. I have tears because I feel really what happens in my inside and how the actual connection with my heart and with my body that I talked, a lot with my clients about, with my patients, with my students, how it worked within in myself. And so it took long, but I learned more and more and more. And now, if it happens again, or if it happens in my clients, I definitely can guide them just to fasten the process, fasten because, for me, it took long. It's actually 20 years that I'm on this journey. But, you and I, we can help others to move through this journey absolutely faster than 20 years.
Right.
Faster because we know all, the tricks and all the, yeah.
Right. Well, and I think that that's a perfect way to kind of wrap this up is for others to hear that we're not, someone who I interviewed once said that, she became an expert by experience. I mean, I believe that's what the two of us have done. I mean, you have a lot of schooling behind you and a lot of study and I have some study too, but we've experienced it ourselves. And I think those are the best people that you listeners, if you're listening, those are the best people that you can choose to help you, be it that they're a coach or a guide or a mentor or whatever you want to call it. Those are the best people that you should choose if you want to, like you said, hasten the process a little bit, or if you just need a guide. And again, I tell people, I'm like, I'm not on the mountaintop, and have all the answers. I'm just a little bit farther ahead because of the life that I've gone through and the things that I've learned. You the same. You're farther ahead, and we have this desire to help others. Absolutely. So that's what we open it up to and say, let us help you. Let us come right alongside you. We'll talk, we'll connect, we'll be real, and we'll help you. We'll give you some suggestions of things that could help you to get along this path we call life. And like you said, to come out at the end, knowing our purpose, knowing how to love ourselves, and knowing how to be resilient, Yeah.
Knowledge and experience would be the best because, so the knowledge by itself alone, I guess it's not enough. And perhaps only experience is not. But the way that we can combine both, it really worked. It really works for me and it works for my clients because, because you bring, all, the evidence-based knowledge that worked, practically. So with the real example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's right. Right. So where can people find you? I know I found you on Facebook, but where can people find you, be it in Down Under or in the States, or where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm here, yes, on Facebook, my business page, Dr. Nas Inner Wellness, and my personal page, Nas Parsian. And, you just feel free to drop me a message. It's just all public available. And Instagram, again, Dr. Nas Inner Wellness, and LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn, I'm Dr. Nas Parsian. And I have a podcast, Inner Wellness. And so I just created a private Facebook group only for women the empowered women who are heart-centered and empowered, and they actually they decided to make a significant life, just to help them live stress-free, because I think stress and anxiety, especially in the current world, it drain us, anxiety and stress, they drain us so much. So I have a private Facebook group. You can just drop me a message to my Facebook and I can send you the link. Mm-hmm. If you want to join my private Facebook group, because I will have a program, will be launched soon for 2021, working more specifically on stress and anxiety healing and wellness optimizing. Mm-hmm. So you may want to be in my team for my new program as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll put all those links. You sent those to me. I'll put them you'll see them in the show notes to connect to. And again, I'm just I'm so grateful that the universe brought us together, because I, again, don't take that lightly either. I do believe there are no coincidences. And as there were so many on that Facebook group that I could kind of reach out to for some advice, I chose you, and I'm certainly grateful for that. And I know we'll have more and more conversations. But, again, wrap it up today to say thank you so much for taking your time today.
Thank you so much, Maura. I'm so grateful for this connection too. Every single connection, I think, is a blessing. And our connection is absolutely special.
It really is. Yeah. So, so we'll wrap this up today. And again, I know that I just, again, loved our conversation, and I know the listeners did as well. Again, to all of you who listen and come back, if you love it, share it. If you love it, write a review. Again, find Dr. Nas's podcast too and do the same. That's how we continue to get these wonderful conversations out to the world, for those that need to hear these uplifting chats about hope and about resilience and about love. So again, thanks again for coming back. I certainly do appreciate it. Signing off for now. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast, head over to iTunes and leave me a 5-star review. Share it with others and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I've got a tribe over on Facebook, so head over there and search for Juggling the Chaos of Recovery Podcast Tribe. And do you know somebody who has a story to share, a story of recovery and hope? Please let me know, as I'd love to feature them as a guest on one of these next upcoming podcasts. And perhaps you're looking for a community of like-minded, collaborative, and supportive people who cheer each other on as we strive to improve our lives. If that sounds like something you've been looking for, schedule some time with me. You'll find the links in the show notes. Let's talk, and let me help you find your way. And I'm here to tell you that you're worth it.